the rise, fall, and incredible comeback of anime Vanguards. We're going to be covering the early success, downfall, the drama behind closed doors, and the insane comeback of anime Vanguards. It's your boy LorTomo, and I'm here with Peryfc. Make sure to like, subscribe, and watch the whole video.
Yo, this is FaygoJX. Just wanted to say really quick before we got into this video that if you want to see more collabs from us, then let us know in the comments. Check out all 3 of our channels, and without any more delay, let's get into it.
Anime Vanguard's release was insanely hyped. The game was the predecessor to Anime Adventures at the time, and it was the game that was gonna stomp on ALS and anime defenders. Anime Vanguards released on September 8th, 2024. It quickly gained traction and surpassed Blox Fruits as Roblox's top earning game in just 10 days from release. That's insane. When AV dropped, it had over 65 million visits, with 20 million of those visits recorded on September 11th, just 3 days after release. But that's not even it. To top it all off, Anime Vanguards maintained a concurrent player count of over 215,000 players in its initial weeks. Then they dropped their first major update on October 21st, 2023, Curse Showdown, the JJK update. The JJK update was received amazingly by the community. From new events like the Sukuna boss raid, to the introduction of tournaments and new mechanics like Mythic to Secret Unit evolutions. This was one of Anime Vanguard's best updates, but it all went downhill from there. I'll let you take it from here, Perry.
It seemed like Anime Vanguards could do no wrong, and following such a meteoric success, the game was projected to just keep growing from there. But these good times would not last forever, as following the success of Update 1, the game began to see a very gradual and steady decline in its player count. Day after day, week after week, players would be left wondering, when is the next update? Because the fact of the matter is, no matter how good a single update is, you can only keep the attention spans of your player base for so long until they start wondering what's next. And what was next in store for Anime Vanguards was not the best. On November 9th, we received the Sukuna Boss Rush update, also known as Update 1.1, and just from the numbering alone, you can tell that this was getting to a point where the devs weren't really able to keep up with the attention spans of their players. Having to release such small batches of content in order to keep their players satiated proved to be a major negative in the long run. And what exactly did we get in this update? We did get some cool things, namely the Sukuna Secret Unit. We also got one new Battle Pass unit, and the Boss Rush event, which would become a staple later on for the game. The issue was, the game itself didn't have that many things to do in order to garner keeping its player base. What happened after Update 1.1? Well, the game's player count plummeted drastically following that update to alarming rates, going all the way down into the 30,000s, which, although is a pretty good number for a Roblox game, is extremely concerning considering the fact these guys started with over 200,000 on release. So what exactly was going on here? What's wrong? As I alluded to earlier, the current style of content that they were giving us, where they would feed us droplets of new things to do until the big major updates, was proving to be unsuccessful, because as soon as people got bored of whatever tidbits of content we were given, they tossed out the game like yesterday's trash and didn't look back, and this would prove to be harmful for the game's player count. Fast forward to November 22nd, approximately 13 days since the Sukuna Boss Rush update, and we received Update 1.5, the Dan update. And this was our first major piece of content to work with since the Jujutsu Kaisen update, meaning there was a considerable amount of waiting time here, and was it worth the wait? Well, the update itself had a lot of things to do, namely the new Occult Hunt event, which had modifiers, new enemies, new strategies to employ, and overall did have some sort of replayability, as well as 5 new units, a familiar system, and a skin system. In theory, this update seems like a slam dunk, right? Wrong. This update was arguably one of the most poorly received and worst updates in this game's history, and I'll tell you exactly why. Number 1, the Occult Hunt felt more like having a job than playing a video game, and people didn't enjoy the fact that it was a lengthy game mode, which didn't give you that much rewards in comparison to what you had to do to earn it. Most people opted to just macro it if they had something like Informal's macro, and if they couldn't do that, they just didn't play the game. And you know how I know that? Well, the game's player count once again dipped pretty drastically following Update 1.5, and this is when the developers were stuck between a rock and a hard place. There seems to be some trouble in paradise here, as what was once a very successful, extremely hyped game is slowly starting to fade into irrelevancy. And armed with the knowledge of their predecessors, will they be able to execute on the fact that things are not looking good, or will they crack under the pressure? Well, let's find out. Yeah, that shit did not last for long. We got update 1.75 on December 8th, and this is also going to go down as one of the worst updates in this game's history. Why we decided to do a 0.25 update, I don't know, and clearly the numbers weren't doing too well either, because although the game did receive a steady boost in its player count on update day, it didn't even take 10 days for the player count to fall by 50%, which is definitely not a good look. But what's actually in the update? Maybe it's not as bad as we think. Well, it's Steel Ball Run, and for an anime as good as this update did not do it justice in the slightest. We got 4 new units: Gyro, Johnny, Valentine, and Diego, or Dio, whatever you want to call them. All of them are ass. Not a single one of them went on to be meta for even a single update after they were released. In all honesty, even on release, people didn't think they were too crazy. The best unit out of the entire update was either Valentine or Diego, and even that doesn't get utilized that often nowadays, or back then, which really goes to show how underwhelming the update was. We did also receive some raid changes. All the raids have 5 acts now. There was a little thing that you could choose for the modifiers, and some quality of life changes. Honestly, the only worthwhile thing, in my opinion, to have come out of this update was console support, just because that let console players actually play the game. So this update didn't do too hot. No worries, I'm sure update 2 will be amazing and absolutely revive the game back to its former glory, right?
Oh my god. Now, before we talk about update 2 and the incredible comeback of Anime Vanguards, let's go ahead and get some exclusive developer insight on everything that happened and everything that they are planning right now with Kazi.
And with all that being said, now we're moving on to our segment with one of our beloved Anime Vanguards developer, Kazi. Kazi, is there anything you'd like to say to the crowd?
Subscribe to Perry and LorTomo.
Yes, sir. Y'all go do that right now.
Well, we actually set up some interview questions to ask Kazi today. We have 10 in total, 5 from me and 5 from Tomo. I'll be starting it off with number 1. Did you see any signs that this was going to happen? And by this, I mean the dev team having its inevitable split up.
I did. Honestly, like, I wouldn't say from the start, because obviously it took me a while to get to know the people. For context, I joined on release day. So everybody who left were people before me. And like, most of the people, I wouldn't say most, I'd say like half of the people left on their own terms and half of the people got the boot. But I kind of did, after a while of settling in, expect something to happen. Is this more like a question of like when?
No, I'm just saying, did you ever see any preemptive signs that this was gonna happen later down the road?
Like, I thought it was gonna happen for like a while. It's just, again, like, I'm not sure if I can get into like detail on what those signs were, but is this sort of like, maybe it didn't look like it from the outside, but from the inside there were like a lot of
disagreements.
Yeah, sort of, and like also just like issues with development itself.
Okay,
I'll let you get the next one.
All right, next question. Thoughts on your competition, more specifically Anime Adventures?
I'm gonna be completely for real, I don't think about them.
Take that
You
as
never
you
thought
will,
about
guys.
them? Did they ever worry you on re-release when they had that big wave of hype?
No, I like a little insight. Most of the people at AV, it was either people who thought A was gonna stay for a while, A was gonna die after a bit, and I think it was just me who thought I was out here thinking AA was gonna die in like a week or two. It lasted a bit longer than that, obviously, but I was never a believer.
Oh, okay. Now, what about any other competition? Are there any future tower defense games coming out, or any existing ones that worry you guys at all?
Nope.
Ooh, not even ALS?
Yeah, I'm not worried about them. I don't want to throw shade at ALS. I think the direction they've been going in is great, but I think we're just like, it's just two different audiences type of thing.
Y'all just way ahead of the curve when it comes to this tower defense shit.
It's more like ALS has their audience, we have our audience.
Got you. All right, I'll let you get the next one, Perry.
Okay, so number 2 for me, how did the team react to the loss of their developers such as Andre, Dreamy, etc.?
So people were kind of split on it. There were people who I've talked to personally before that who felt like, I don't really want to like talk shit, but like there were people who felt like they were sort of in the way of like new ideas, like anything, any type of planning or everything like that. All of the update ideas was just coming from them. There wasn't really like a diversity of ideas, and that was actively harming the game. So for those people, obviously they thought that it was like an opportunity for growth, and some people were understandably scared because any type of change is sort of unpredictable. And personally, I was more in like the first camp of like, it's just an opportunity to try something new for 3.0.
Okay. Now, Kazi, can you guys give us any exclusive sneaks for the future of Anime Vanguards? For example, any new double evolutions coming?
Maybe.
Just maybe?
Maybe.
Just okay.
No.
All right, I'll take that.
All right, I'm up next. Number 3, looking back on it, would you have done anything differently or handled any situations differently that got you up to this point?
I'm not really sure, because like for a while I sort of thought that the gameplay needed to go in a different direction, like, or like the focus of our updates, like since October maybe. So like it was just like a matter of time before it happened. It was just like the old team leaving gave us an opportunity to actually change directions. But is this sort of like, I think that the timing for everything was good because we changed our direction around the same time as the AA re-release, and it's like a lot of people from the outside look at that and think, oh, AA came out, so that forced them to innovate. But in reality, it was just like really good timing. Like they came out at the same time that we started going in a different direction, and I think that that was ultimately for our benefit. So I like how things went.
So no regrets from your part?
Maybe maybe Dawn to Dawn. That was, but
Oh my god! Look,
that's a bit of a regret.
Okaroon is hard. Don't say nothing about Okaroon.
Bro,
My goat.
I won't.
That's my goat.
I'm not trying to.
All right, Kazi, what are you personally most excited for in the future of Anime Vanguards?
Honestly, I think I have a lot of, I got a lot of high hopes for 6.0. It's something that, like, basically every aspect of it, like the theme and what's coming new is like things that, like I'm personally excited for, and things that I'm interested in, because like I have a very niche selection of tastes.
Oh, so we're getting
And
Fate Part 3.
No. That is not, I was about to say, that is not a confirmation that 6.0 is Fate Part 3. But if it was up to me, 6.0 would have been like Fate Part 7.
Oh my god.
Oh wow.
Oh my god. What more could you do with Fate?
Bro, there's like, I looked at the amount of series earlier today. It's definitely like over 30. So there's a lot to pull Fate from.
Holy.
Damn. So no Chainsaw Man update, huh?
Maybe.
That'd be a good one.
That'd be a dream. Number 4, next up from me. Will you ever rework any of the Steel Ball Run units? At the very least, the ones that are permanently in the game. I could see why Diego would stay the same, but what about the rest?
I mean, again, we've like mentioned in the past that instead of completely reworking a unit that we're not like happy with and we think we're like, wasted potential, if they're like popular enough and like, they get the double evolution treatment, or just like some sort of something new instead of reworking something old, basically.
So would you give it like another evolution? Is that what you're trying to say?
It's more like if we ever did touch a unit, it would either be very like small balance changes, if at all, which is rare. We barely ever rebalance past like the first week, and it would just be like some sort of rework, or what's it called, like a different form as a unit.
Ah, I see what you mean now.
Okay. All right, Kazi. Since ALS did not get completely boomed after releasing Gear 5 Luffy, will you guys ever touch on One Piece?
Maybe.
Is that like a maybe yes or a maybe nah, or we don't want to take
maybe.
that? Kazi, look, listen.
I see your profile picture, man. It's maybe.
I'll drop $1,000 next update.
It's maybe.
Just give me just a little bit more than maybe.
You could have the rare Sanji.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think he's trained. After all these interviews, he's not going to leak anything.
Oh no. Alright, you're up next, Perry.
For number 5, do you ever plan on adding an in-game wiki feature for quality of life?
I'm not really sure what that would entail, but we have like placed a lot of stuff that is like, what's it called? It used to be only you could tell from the wiki. Like we put it in the game, like for example, like the elemental reaction charts, or like the hovering over a status to see what it does, like that. So we're definitely trying to put more information in the game as possible, so you don't have to be as reliant on the wiki.
Sounds good.
A little bonus question, extra question. Who usually comes up with these ideas for the quality of life and implements them? Is it Yuzu? Is it, or Yuru? Is it Paisif?
It's just like I go to bed and one day I wake up and Yuru's just done something. I'm just like, wow, thanks Yuru.
Everything. It's like you guys keep adding things that we never knew we needed.
Yeah, I didn't know we needed that shit either till Yuru just fucking put it in.
It's a great dev. That's a great dev. Thank you so much, Kazi, for joining us with this interview. Is there anything else you want to say, Perry?
Nothing from my part. I think we're good to go. What about you, Kazi?
I think you should play Anime Vanguards all day, every day, and again, subscribe to Perry and LorTomo.
Yes, sir.
Woo! Yes,
All right,
sir.
let's get right back to the video.
I wanted this video to be special. So for the viewers at home, I got together with another Anime Vanguards developer to bring you guys a second bonus interview. Please welcome Clay Taki.
Hello to everyone, and hello to you, Perry.
Thank you for joining us. Is there anything you'd like to say to the audience before we start?
I want to send a huge thank you to everyone who's been playing Anime Vanguards and for sticking with us, developers, and the game. Thank you for believing in us and being a part of this journey.
What a heartwarming message. And with that, let's get into question number 1. Did you guys foresee any of this dev team fiasco happening?
Honestly, I knew we'd hit a few bumps. Any ambitious project does. But I never imagined it would spiral into a full-blown crisis. Looking back, early warning signs were there. Communication gaps, stretched resources, and competing priorities.
I see. So you definitely say there was writing on the wall, even from the earlier stages?
Absolutely. Early on, we noticed some of our seasoned developers were missing deadlines, while conflicting visions for the game's direction led to heated debates.
Well, on that same note, how did you guys react to so many developers leaving? During the height of Anime Adventure's popularity, having such internal issues would have definitely scared anyone.
Honestly, I felt a genuine relief when the developers who were holding us back stepped aside. It cleared the way for everyone who truly believed in the game. I already knew Anime Adventures was coming back before everyone else did. And instead of worrying, we doubled down on Vanguard's unique features and engaging our players.
That's great to hear. Next question I have for you is sort of a retrospective. Looking back on the game's lifecycle thus far, would you have done anything differently?
Looking back, the first thing we would do differently is bring Kazi onto the team much earlier. I'd lean way harder into our community from day one. We dropped the ball on dev updates and open Q&As and ended guessing instead of listening.
Yeah, I'd have to agree on that second part the most. The communication has done wonders for this game on all ends. On to my third and final question. Do you guys think trading is on the horizon, or are we still a ways from getting there?
With the next 2 updates, the trading system will get significantly closer to being added.
Now that sounds like some very exciting news. Well, with that all out of the way, is there anything you'd like to say to the audience before we end this interview?
Now let's talk about the comeback. We've already covered the dark age of anime vanguards. Now it's time to talk about the period of peace, starting at update 2, the Fate update. Now this, in hindsight, was a very, very good update. But because of all of the hate that Anime Vanguards was facing, Anime Adventures coming back, as well as just a whole influctuation of people just calling Dandadan update bad, which realistically speaking, those units probably weren't the best. It kind of trickled down into this update with update 2, and people were calling it bad. Like, bad for no reason. This update introduced the new Fate units, Gilgamesh, Lancer, Ishtar, Archer, Saber, Medea, and Medusa. And it introduced about 4 units that are still being used in the meta today. The update was really, really, really good. The balancing was really, really, really good. They increased essence stones. They improved chances for featured units in the banner. You can get more rewards from infinites. They just did so much. They did so much. You get more XP. Everything in the Fate update was amazing, but it was just getting so much hate. So then Anime Vanguard says, you know what guys, y'all think the Fate update is butt? I'm about to hit you with it back to back. They go from update 2 to update 3. No 2.5, no 2.1, no 2.75. They went straight for it and they released the newest Vanguard unit, Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Update 3 really solidified Anime Vanguards in their comeback. They had 2 new game modes, World Lines having a secret unit, Subaru, who's one of the most used support units today, one of the strongest support units in the game. They had a new secret unit from the portal, the Christmas portal, Ragnar, which is one of the most free-to-play friendly units of all time, the Monarch without Monarch. And then they introduced the strongest, one of the strongest at the time, Vanguard units in the game, Gogeta. And he was 1 placement, so when you got Monarch on him, he had insane damage. He was one of the best units. It had a new battle pass, it had new banner units. They had so many free-to-play friendly banner units, Rem and Ram. They had Emmy, they had Gogeta, Subaru, Ragnar, and it was just so much content in one update. It solidified and stamped their comeback, and they did not stop from there. They kept going. Anime Vanguard's devs dropped a whole new lobby, revamped all of their quality of life, new in-game update logs, boss event reruns, and a sandbox mode that you can go in, give yourself infinite money, and try out all of the new units from the previous update. That is crazy. And they added experience fusing. They have been sitting there listening to everything the community says and started implementing everything into their game one by one by one, update by update. And then Anime Vanguard said, nah, we're not finished. They ended up dropping another update less than 2 weeks later, update 3.5, introducing Saber Alter, Sakura, S-Death, and Lilia. They gave us a complete overhaul of the boss event, new difficulties, new leaderboard, elite tournaments, multiplayer functionality, public matchmaking for stages. It was crazy. They did so much, and they just started ramping up on the quality of life and ramping. Then 3 weeks later, they dropped update 4, the Bleach update, which shook up the meta completely, introducing so many crazy units. Kenpachi with unique passives, Ichigo, Yamamoto, Yuhabaha, Aizen, Oreo, Lucy, they just dropped, and I do not think that they missed on a single unit in that update. They introduced a whole new game mode, which is kind of like their thing, just coming up with innovative new game modes to keep people playing the game, keeping things innovative. It's actually so great. They created a server-wide event for all players in the Anime Vanguards, and we can go in and grind this 6-player dungeon basically to get the secret unit and rift shards that you can use to buy trait rerolls, a whole bunch of stuff, familiars, everything, evolution materials. They did their thing. It may sound like I'm glazing Anime Vanguards right now, and that may be the case, but it's not gonna stop anytime soon, because right after update 4, they dropped update 4.5, the free-to-play update. They added little to no monetary aspects in this update at all. It's literally grind the game, play the game, get the units, get the evolution materials, and you have the best unit in the game. But it took a really long time. But the grind was what the update was. They made it the free-to-play update.
And now we're in present day. Update 5.0 is one of their best updates yet, with a slew of new units to try out, a new Odyssey game mode, Dante and Virgil coming into the battle pass with custom OSTs. This truly does mark one of the high points of this game, as the player count keeps rising and community engagement just becomes more and more consistent. Now that we've gone through all the updates this game has had thus far, I think it's safe to say that Anime Vanguards is one of the few games in Roblox that has indefinitely clawed its way out of the abyss, making sure to not only maintain a player count leaps and bounds higher than their competition, but doing so from a position that we thought wasn't possible. A comeback so generational, it can only be described as miraculous, from their immense success upon release, to struggling to meet the players' expectations in the earlier updates, to almost fading completely into irrelevancy once Anime Adventures re-released, to where they are today is truly remarkable. And this has been the rise and fall and comeback of Anime Vanguards.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes the rise, fall, and incredible comeback of Anime Vanguards. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like down below, comment what you think, and subscribe to all of our channels. It's your boy Perry, Faygo, and Tomo. Peace.